Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Non-Classics. This is episode number 3364, Doubleshot number 3258. I got two trades from the All-In Initiative. Yep. The only thing I have technically reviewed from this initiative, I think it's just Batman. The last trade to collect the issues from Chip Zdarsky's run for the title. We have first here, the first ever this title released in about a few years. It was released just last year. Now, I actually mentioned this to Keith Giffen on Twitter about, not Keith Giffen, was Jay Matthias, where was because he's written Justice League before, back in the 80s. Was Justice League? Yes, but he actually predicted this. He actually predicted, before the comic came back last year, this comic would be back. Do you know how long this comic was gone for? Because right now we're reading Justice League Unlimited, by the way. Justice League Unlimited, Volume 1. Into the Inferno, which I'm sure it's a play on the song Into the Fire. Yes. So, first new Justice League title released in about 2 years. Because the end of the previous volume at issue 75, where was Josh Williamson writing that last issue of the book, where that was leading to Dark Crisis Infinite Earths. Well, at the time it was called Dark Crisis. Now, I should point out, though, when it comes to Dark Crisis, originally it was called that, and then they tried changing Dark Crisis Infinite Earth for some weird reason. Some people pointed this out, though DC just let it go, which I kind of agree with that. They just decided to disband in the aftermath of that story, and Green Arrow apparently wasn't there, so when his title came back, he basically like, hey, we're doing Justice League now, and they're gone. And the Hall of Justice would take over Man of Waller, renamed to the Hall of Order, where Peacemaker's running the damn thing. Now, Peacemaker's currently has his own miniseries right now. So, throughout the next couple years, basically DC was building up Waller as DC's big bad, where they built up a story that a lot of people were not looking forward to the story. The story itself wasn't terrible, per se, that being Absolute Power, which, of course, was written by Mark Waid, the guy who actually wrote this very story. And, of course, AT, the big three villains, big trinity is going to be Brainiac Queen, the Sovereign, and Failsafe. Sovereign never appeared in the Absolute Power miniseries. Never did. Never ever did. Yeah, that part was a lie. They teased him as part of that main story. He did jack frickin' squat in that story. Failsafe just did stuff in the main book and did stuff one of the tie-ins. Brainiac Queen did nothing. She never appeared in the title. So, in the aftermath, and this proved to be a very good success on Scott Snyder's part, was to bring hope back DC Comics by basically making some internal changes that needed to be done. Now, of course, the creative team behind this book is Mark Waid and, of course, Dan Moria. The same people who do Batman Superman World's Finest, which I have heard confirmed next year. Dan Moore, who's doing several books, he's only doing one title next year. I think this is not one. I think he's still doing World's Finest. He takes some issues off, but I think I saw recently in the last several months he's actually just doing the cover. He doesn't do the interiors anymore. So for these particular issues, per se, for these 6 issues, we get set up for 3 miniseries during these 6 issues. By the way, this actually is the second volume of Justice League Unlimited. The very first volume was actually a tie-in to the TV show Justice League Unlimited. Yes, this volume has nothing to do with that volume. It just got the similar name. It's just Volume 2. All in the 3 miniseries are Justice League: The Other Project by Ryan Parrott and the writer behind I Am Batman, which of course basically I put on my friend like, Ryan Parrott's a good writer. He does not need a co-writer. Like, does DC not trust Ryan Parrott to write a good title? Yeah. Crystal Chantwell, Challenge Unknown, and also a mini-series for Renee Montoya, The Question, called The Question All Along. Yeah, 3 mini-series. And each of these issues, there's a loose string of element throughout to connect these issues. That's simply Organization Inferno. but each issue is mostly put standalone. And with the Justice League Unlimited, it is pretty much every single superhero in DC Comics. They even threw in the new character Arrow, which even referenced the Lost Children miniseries, because this guy here is loose. It's not confirmed he's related to Hal Jordan here. So look at the cover here. Ooh, that looks kind of like maybe JLA #1. Kind of like, in a way, this book is sort of a nod to JLA book that was started by Grant Morrison, which the lineup was huge. Oh my gosh, was huge. But each issue feels very standalone. Of course, also, we do have another spin-off title called Just Like Red, where it's headed by a red tornado, where it's basically where you can't tell any of the members, just like whoever's on the team, including the founders, for reasons. So basically, kind of in the way Unlimited feels like the Unlimited TV show, where we have a squad of heroes set to deal with stuff, per se. So, in our opening issue, we have a team which is comprised of Firestorm, the Ace, Kid Flash, Black Lightning, Carol Ferris, Star Sapphire, Superman, and Wonder Woman dealing with this big fire. And of course, get to work. And we see that, the Justice League is going to be with these cards. And on a new Justice League Watchtower, which, yes, this was the return of the Watchtower. It did briefly appear in Checkmate, but they didn't do anything with it at all. And plus, interesting though that the logo in the book is all same with the cover. I thought that was really cool. Airwave is there. He runs into Challenge the Unknown, which that's set up for the miniseries for there. He passes by Stargirl and Shazam. And he looks basically across the way where he sees Supergirl, Big Barda. Basically it's the Birds of Prey. The current title done by, I think it's Kelly Thompson does the title. Yes, we do see the current Swamp Thing. We see Batman, various different superheroes here. Then Flash takes Airwave and takes him across the tower and runs into the Question, which she is there to set up her own miniseries. Runs the Atom, which of course that sets up the Project Atom miniseries, which that one is basic because during Absolute Power, a lot of the main superheroes, with the exception of Superman and Wonder Woman, got their power stolen. And the whole point of that miniseries is to have the Atom Project basically just have Captain Atom, the Atoms, which is Roy Cheadle and Ray Palmer, restore the superheroes' powers. That's the basis of the miniseries. I will eventually read that at some point. And then, of course, running into... Then we see the superheroes fighting a War Wheel, which is a Black Hawk thing. Yep. And basically just like kicking butt and just doing just like stuff. They actually go around the world. They're not hiding. And here's the thing. This is one thing I pointed out, though, by Brian Hitch's run for Justice League. Where, if you read most of the run, if you read issues by him, there's no appearance by the headquarters. There's no scene, the Watchtower, nothing. The only time we saw, when he, basically, with the exception of Legacy, he was featured in that last story he did, but a lot of his early issues never featured the Watchtower. It features the whole team out in the field. So we have all this various stuff here. Batman's here on the field too. Also, Black Lightning himself gets on a miniseries. Airwave just is sombering, and he disappears for issue 2, comes back issue 3, where the Question finds him hiding inside the walls, despite the fact he has his own quarters. And the reason why he doesn't go back to Earth, because apparently no one remembers him. Seriously, no one does. By the way, Blue Beetle here is Jaime Reyes. Some people wish it was probably some people wish it was Ted Kord, but people do like Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes has got a fan base. Can you believe this character on his debut 19 years ago? Yeah, 19 years ago in Infinite Crisis #1. Thank you, Jeff Johns. So we're going to Costa Rica, where for some reason Parademons are there, and the team from Justice League sent to deal with him are Get this. This is a weird lineup for to fight parademons. We have Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Lightning, Martian Manhunter, Kara Ferris, the Star Sapphire, Mary Marvel, and I think that is I think that's Dr. Colt. Yeah, Dr. Colt. Now, of course, who does not know who Superman and Wonder Woman are? Obviously. Martian Manhunter, he's a fan favorite. Black Lightning, interesting, he's featured a lot of this, which, of course, those of you curious by his costume here, that is inspired by his TV show appearance. Yep. That's... Though, here's the thing. On the show, the actor who played Black Lightning was bald. But they gave him short hairs, but they gave him the costume. Martian Manhunter, in case you're curious, why does his costume look than he did in the show? The reason because of the New 52. Jim Lee designed the costume, and here's something really weird. Still wears this costume. He is one of 2 people to have the costume designed by Jim Lee and still wear it. The other being Barry Allen's Flash. Yes, Barry Allen Flash has not changed his costume though he does get a slight update here. That's Wally on the cover. Yeah, that's Wally. So, by the way, Dr. Cole does not know who the heck the parademons are. Well, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, how the heck does Dr. Colt not know who the heck the parademons are? Well, here's kind of the reason why. The main reason why he does not know about these creatures is probably because he's hiding all supernatural stuff, probably because it wasn't active. That's presuming anyways. Oh, and the reason why they're here? It's because of the aftermath of the All-In tie-in, and that sense of the episode universe, which I'll discuss later at some point. So, Batman gets wounded here in this really cool panel here by Dan Moria. Then we see App Smasher, where it's in Singapore, which the scene itself is clearly set up. Is basically a preview. Yeah, these couple pages here, these few pages are a preview of the Atom Project, which I remember that was included in the actual early, I think it was included in the first issue. And so then they look for the Inferno. Then Martian Manhunter looks like he just... Yeah, then becomes the John Jones, which for some reason here we have John Jones look white. My guess is, oh, okay, so it looks like Martian did up. I thought Basic was still the New 52 costume. Oh no, this actually is this is a redesign. Yeah, I'm looking closely at the costume here. Yeah, that's a redesign. I'm like, that's interesting because he's had the same outfit for over a decade. I guess the Dan Moore felt as though, yeah, Manhunter needs an update because they missed the classic design with him wearing shorts, so they put him in this outfit here. And plus, I love how Dan Moore draws him here, where he looks like the way he does in the show. And they find these creatures. Reference here to Black Lightning, of course. Yeah, he had a mini-series that spun out of this. And there's stuff building up here. And then we have Ted Cord here. Yeah, he's part of the team, too. I already mentioned stuff here with Airwave, where he gets heavily involved. Heck, we've included the Elongated Man, Mr. Terrific. Yep. And then we sent a team of Stargirl, Stripe. Yes, Stripe. Wally West Flash, Wonder Woman, Star Sapphire, Shazam, and Superman to deal with these pillars. And we also see this issue, we do see appearance there by Zatanna, which of course she actually got a spring of popularity in the last couple of years. She's got a mini-series out right now. You might think it's anniversary? No, not that I could think of. No, she debuted in '64. Her anniversary was last year, so I guess to celebrate how awesome the character is. But I do love basically that there are people who love this character, so I'm glad DC's gave her a push. And then we see Elongated Man, where he sees something. I think it's his. I think it's a elongated man basically with his son while it's swapping powers. So, and well, he gets his powers back, no problem. Yeah, this is Plastic Man. So, yeah, and then we see. I'm guessing that's. I'm not sure who this girl is. This girl on the page here with the sword. She's here on the page with Dr. Colt. Yep. And then we see frickin' Aquaman. Yep. And he's got a series now. It says, Editor's Note. Takes place prior to the events Aqua number 1. Awesome. And of course we run into the current Swamp Thing, who is not Alec Holland. This is Levi. This is a Ram V creation. And by the way, prior to this title, last time anybody saw this guy was actually when Tom Taylor wrote the book Titans. That was the last time he ever appeared in comics. And then we see Tiffy Holland. I think this is her first post-Flashpoint appearance. Okay, those of you curious, who is Tiffy Holland? Tiffy Holland is the daughter of Alec Holland's Swamp Thing and Abigail Arcane. And how she was able to, you think, wait, Swamp Thing is a plant person. How was he able to have a child? Well, that was due to him possessing John Constantine to sleep with his wife. That's what happened. Blame Rick Veek for that. She made a volume of Swamp Thing, which lasts like 20 issues, which was awesome. I think Brian King Bond wrote it. So that first bit 6 issues after Justice League, which turned down, and she becomes involved with this issue. We have Batman doing some investigating here. And something's happening in the green, and then basically like, oh, Inferno's revealed in issue number 5. That was 6 issues. That was 6. No, it's 5. My mistake was actually first 5 issues. So, and of course they mentioned about the Legion of Doom, which somehow they're active again to mention. Oh yeah, Lex's Lost Memories. That's thanks to Josh Williams' Superman. I love basically Wade is basically acknowledging stuff in her books, which of course, oh look, here's even Bard Allen, make a brief cameo appearance. Yep, probably the first time he's appeared since I think last time he appeared was he has appeared in Science Fair Spider. I think he last time appeared was probably Jeremy Adams' run on the Flash. Yes. So. All about the jungle here, and then Supergirl basically does something here, and then we see Gorilla Grodd does some stuff here too, and then the book ends with him meeting up with a Legion of Doom comprised of Joker, Lex Luthor, who's this is apparently the past version of him, Black Manta, Bizarro, Sinestro, and the Scarecrow. Interesting, and this leads into a crossover with World's Finest. This is a great start for this series. Amazing. Give this book a 9 out of... I give this book a 10 out of 10. It was awesome. Next up we have is the first trade for Bill Kennedy Johnson's run for Batman and Robin. Weird enough, basically, with new writer, gotta relaunch the graphic novel numbering because that's DC's MO for some weird reason. Marvel launches a new title when they hit whenever they get a new writer. DC does not do that with the title itself. They do it with the graphic novels. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times basically Wonder Woman has relaunched. So technically, this is the third trade to collect issues from Volume 3 for Batman and Robin. This is called Memento, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, obviously, with Javier Fernandez in the artwork. This collects issues 14 and 19 of Batman and Robin, Volume 3. Oh, we also have Miguel Medina and Carmen Nicotillo. So, mostly a lot of this book is focused on Damian a little bit. We still see his artistic stuff, which I'm glad Phil Kennedy Johnson kept that in here from Josh Williamson's era. Which, good enough for acknowledging that. And there's also a guy called Memento, who is a serial killer from Batman's past, who apparently was one of his mentors. Because apparently Batman's got like 50 mentors. I mean, the most common one is Henry the Cord. And it's like this is mysterious killer. There's also a doctor who's a friend of his. There's a mystery throughout the whole book. Damien's introduced kind of a party. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in this book per se. And aside from Damien and Bruce, is there any other familiar characters in this book per se? Well, we do see appearance here by Arkham Tower in this book. Oh, yes. Definitely. Yeah, Arkham Tower makes appearance here. I think, yeah, this appearance by Tiger Shark. Yep. Yeah, he's an old Batman villain. And then we see Arkham Asylum, the original one. Yeah, it's in ruins because of the events of... Yeah, it places in ruins. Apparently it's like a tourist attraction now for some weird reason. Not sure why. And people are just taking photos of it. There was just a woman named Catherine LaRocque. So we go to Arkham Tower. This was the creation of Mariko Tamaki when she wrote Detective Comics, the storyline called Child the Bat, which that was very mixed. A lot of people. I enjoyed that run, and I do enjoy the fact that we have something different for Arkham Asylum, basically Arkham Tower, which, hey, at least basically is escape-proof. Weird enough, we don't see that psychiatrist who debuted in the Batman Fred movie in this place. There's a bunch of zombies here. The best way you can describe these issues is basically like, it doesn't feel like it deals with what goes on. It deals with basically Batman's time with Damien. It's basically a partnership book with them. It's different tone than what Peter Tomasi did, or basically when Josh Williams did the title. Similar feel, but still pretty good. To give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Really good. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Next up we have is Tales of the Weathering. See you next video. Bye.